Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Our producer Samantha is here with the finest of Tropodelic shirts on. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
I'm going to put it into the universe right now. The bands Little Stranger
Oh, you're doing it.
and Tropodelic. I need to talk to you. I want to work with you. I'm putting it out. That's the thing, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
put
yeah.
the energy out there, and then you just say,
I want
hey.
to talk to you too,
Yeah,
Tropodelic.
no, and then we got to talk about you wanting to talk to them because you blew
BDM show.
Whoa, I didn't blow anything.
blew Sam's. You blew Tom's hoodie off. He was. I heard him go, "Whoa, Nelly." He was
I did not
rattled.
say Nelly.
You did say the Nelly part. Hey, we have a guest on the line, and this is really, really cool because I know for a fact that everybody in our listening audience knows who this person is.
Yeah.
But they don't know all the other things that she's been doing for damn near 40 years. Like, they don't understand that she's also a photographer. They don't understand that she's also written a cookbook that you can check out on her website and purchase. And I'm really excited about this because this particular person is married to one of the reasons why I got into radio. She's married to Venus Flytrap. Ladies and gentlemen, on the line with us right now, Daphne, Maxwell, Reid, thank you so much for taking the time. Your husband is one of the reasons why, WKRP is one of the reasons why, as a young boy, I had to go into radio.
Fantastic. I'm glad that we had some kind of impression on your life.
Oh, absolutely. Nothing but good impressions here. But hey, thanks so much for the time. And tell us a little bit about, because I was on your website, and I wanted to start sort of with this. We all know you as being a mom from the Fresh Prince of
That's
Bel-Air.
right.
You're Aunt Viv 2.0. But we don't know that you're also quite the photographer and quite the whiz in the kitchen, and you made a book that's not only a cookbook, but it's also your memoirs. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I've been cooking since I was a little girl. My mom was a great cook, and I loved the way she loved to feed people.
Yeah.
She thinks that presenting food and sitting down and communing with the people that you're eating with is a sacred act. And I think so, too. I think it's a great way for interpersonal communication. So I want to encourage people to get out of the darn restaurants and start cooking at home. But I have been collecting recipes from all the folks that I've worked with for years and years and years. We'd go out to dinner, or they'd fix dinner at their house, and I'd just be blown over by something they made, and they'd give me the recipe. So after collecting these for about 40 years, I decided to get them off of my computer and into some kind of a format to express how I felt about making and serving food. And that's Grace, Soul, and Motherwit. That's my cookbook.
I love it. It's so cool. And is it primarily like people that would be like only like, let's say, entertainment figures and people that you know, or are these maybe friends and family that didn't have anything to do with your connection to Hollywood? Is it like kind of a mixed bag of all types of different experiences and humans that you've met on your during your life?
Yes, it's friends, family, people I've worked with in front of the camera, behind the camera, in the mix, just anybody who I had a relationship with somewhere along my journey, because my journey has been quite a long and lovely one.
I love that. And some of the best memoirs I've picked up recently are the ones that have some sort of a cooking component. It feels like it goes together. Matty Matheson, a famous Canadian chef, his newest cookbook is really less of a cookbook. You start reading it, it's really just stories about people he's met and things that he's done. And I commend you for doing that. I think it's really creative to put, I'm more likely to read your memoirs when there's some yummy food attached to it. You know?
Good, because there's lots of yummy food in there.
I love it.
And Daphne, I was gonna say that I bet the pandemic really accelerated people's either wanting to know how to cook or learning to cook, because people are forced to do it.
Yeah.
And so I bet there's a lot more people that are cooking.
Yeah. I
out
definitely
there
started cooking more during the pandemic. Yeah.
And getting into it because of that. Have you noticed that as well?
Oh, definitely. And I'm encouraging people because of that to reconnect with their families since they're there with them. And this pandemic is not raging anymore, but it is still there.
Right.
And there's still a need to settle down and, chill out.
Yeah, 100%. Daphne, I got to ask you the question because we all grew up with Fresh Prince, and because it got such it was so big of a show. There's all this urban legend and it's part of our pop culture, and you being the second Vivian, I mean, it was always been a thing. Like, hey, there was an original Vivian, and then you came in. But at the time, I feel like that doesn't happen anymore because of social media. And in the 90s, you could switch out actors and actresses.
Yeah, not really talk about it.
And then not really talk about it and just move on. And people were like, they had no way to research it or even find out. Like, hold on, that Aunt Vivian looks different.
Well, you have your big three. And I think I think that Daphne's going to know what I mean. You had your OG, which is Bewitched. Then you had Fresh Prince, and then you have Roseanne. Those are the big three of the swaps, right? Those are the ones that everybody talks about.
So, Daphne, I got to ask you, at the time, how weird was it for you to come in and start playing a part that someone else had played? Like, was it, what was that experience like?
It was a piece of cake. I just went to work.
That's right. I like that answer.
Her. I didn't have the same talents that she had. I mean, she was a dancer, and she had all this wonderful grace, and her personality was very different from mine. But what I could bring was me to that character.
Sure.
And what I needed to do was just become a part of that family. And they welcomed me with open arms. They knew my work from before and respected me as an actress. So I was warmly welcomed and asked one time what happened, why I'm there, and they said, we don't talk about it. I said, okay, and I never heard and never talked about it.
Oh,
I heard about
professional.
Yeah, that's a
that
pro.
was about
She's not there for the drama.
Yeah.
And I feel
Why be there for the drama, too?
Right.
Because that's the part that everybody...
Make it worse.
Even right now, I mean, we're not going to talk about it, but they don't... Everybody dislikes the drama. I'd rather talk about the yummy food we were just talking about.
I don't deal in all that drama.
Yeah.
It makes sense. That's people's opinion, and they're allowed to have their opinions, and okay.
Yeah.
I have my opinions, but I don't need to share them with everybody.
Wow.
Daphne, I like that.
Frame
Old
that.
school. And Daphne, I was going to ask you about that because nowadays, if you're an actor or an actress, part of your job is communicating with the public because now through social media, everybody has a direct communication with the fans, the people that are watching you. They can communicate with you directly, and I feel like that's a lot harder to navigate nowadays than like when you were an actress. You did your job like we talked about. You went in, you did your job, you went home. There was some tabloids and magazines and some entertainment TV, but it wasn't as the entire listener audience or viewer audience being able to at you and talk to you directly.
And now
and
it's
mention
direct
you.
to consumer.
So, do you think it's way harder nowadays to navigate that?
No, it depends on where you're coming from. If you want to get involved in the mix, you get in there and you talk to your fans and you accept what they express, I guess. I do a lot of advertising on Instagram and Facebook and stuff and tell people what I'm doing.
Right.
And if they have mean comments, I just delete them.
Right. It's kind of your take. It's what you tell me. Like you and I, my business partner Tom, who just asked you the question, like he is a little bit more like you, I think, naturally in that. And you said something great. You're like, it's not hard to navigate. If you want to be in the mix, that might be hard to navigate. But if you don't want to be in the mix, not going there is not hard. Well, for me it is. For me it is sometimes because, obsessive compulsive, sometimes you got to get in there.
Yeah, you're emotional.
Yeah, you don't know what's good for you.
Enjoy yourself. I've got other things to do.
Yeah. And speaking of which, if you go to our website, DaphneMaxwellReid.com, you can see what she's been up to. Sam and I were admiring these tote bags that you make that have all of your particular photographs that you've actually taken from all across your travels.
Yeah, what's the obsession with the doors?
Doors are a metaphor for life, and they represent curiosity and adventure and opportunity. And I am a graduate my college degree is in interior design and architecture, and I'm drawn to the details of architecture. So I'm looking at a door as craftsmanship, as color, as what nature has done to the door. And I want to encourage people to look at the details in their life because it enhances the journey getting from A to B. Because once you get to B, you got to start another journey. So look at the details and have a full, rich life of noticing and smelling the roses as you go along.
Yeah.
I like that.
I mean, being present is so hard for me. Like, everything you're saying is correct. Everything you're saying is something that I should implement in my life. It is just so damn difficult for me to be present, to smell roses.
Yeah.
I don't even see them. I'm running so fast.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sitting there in my living room. My two sons are playing, and my wife's there. And all I could do is look at TikTok and keep scrolling.
No.
One video after another.
Yeah. More.
And then I'm like, what else is there going to be? And then...
Well, you need therapy. That's what it is.
Yeah.
You need help.
Yeah, I've been telling him that, Daphne. I've been telling him he needs to seek therapy.
I love
He
the
doesn't
idea.
listen.
That, like
I'm addicted to my phone.
I come home today and my wife and my loving daughter go, "What'd you do today?" And I say, "Oh, we talked to Aunt Viv from Fresh Prince. You're gonna love it, and you're gonna check out her website. You can get her cookbook. You can check out her tote bags. You can see what she's been up to, and all of that." And then she told my business partner he needs therapy. He needs help. He needs help. He needs a lot of help.
She's not wrong.
Yeah, she's not wrong. She's a smart woman.
Needs a lot of help.
Daphne, it seems like you have a good grasp on work-life balance.
You know
and
why?
I've heard a lot
because
about
I think
this.
she kept her passions. I'll tie into what
Yeah,
you're saying.
you're right.
Let's talk fashion. It's not like that's something that I feel like you've always appreciated, and you still do it. So even when you were doing Hollywood, even when you're doing that kind of stuff, you still had
And
both.
let's not pretend like Aunt Viv didn't have some banging outfits.
Right,
Oh.
but
On
you
the
still
show.
had both feet into
Oh,
your.
I didn't make those, though.
Yeah, but
I
you still looks
saw
good
the
in
other
them.
stuff.
Yeah, you still look good in them, but it's a part of what you do, right? So, like what Tom's saying, like you have a very good. Do you think that being, I don't know, authentic to who you are, keeping yourself grounded, is that why you think maybe you were able to go in there, do it, and come out relatively unscathed?
Well, I have a theory about actors. I mean, you have to wait to be chosen to be an actor. Somebody has to need you for their project. You have to fit a certain expression of what they imagined. And that has really nothing to do with you personally.
Right.
You bring your talent and your professionalism to your job, but when you're not being chosen, you have to fill your life with things that you're passionate about. And mine is sewing and photography and working on my computer. I do all my own setup. I publish my own books. I like the journeys of learning, and I spend my life learning while I'm not acting. And when I'm acting, I'm fully engaged in that.
Well, Daphne, it's been a pleasure talking to you. And again, where can people find the cookbook?
DaphneMaxwellReid.com.
Yeah, she's got masks on there, tote bags, all kinds of stuff. You can find out, connect with her, find out what almost everything that she's been up to. You can see the Daphne style on there as well.
And you can see her in the new Bel Air. She makes an appearance on an episode
Yeah.
on that. Yeah.
She does indeed. Hey, thank you for your time, and we hope we get to do it again sometime soon.
Oh, it was a pleasure. Be well, everybody.
And you
Thanks.
as well.
Awesome.
Take care. Wow, that's it's always nice when we have like these people on that are like natural. I don't know. That's not a put on?
I
no,
realized
she seemed like a genuine
Yeah, that's
good
real
person.
stuff.
during that interview, I realized why.
I felt like I needed to dress up for that. I felt
I
under
know.
because she was like, "And be well," like I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm wearing a T-shirt."
why there always will be tabloids, and why there always will be celebrity or entertainment in celebrity downfalls and like negativity is because some people are just better than other people, right?
Oh no, he's doing it.
And
I think
Daphne,
this is going on in
Yes.
Russia right now, isn't it?
no, Daphne's a better human than a lot of other humans,
she's
including
got
myself.
She's got
right?
when she was born.
And I'm like, why are you so good?
Yeah.
I hope there's a scandal about you so you can bring yourself
why would
down.
you say
Huh?
that?
That's
You're
why
wishing a scandal
No.
on quite possibly the most lovely guest we've had?
No, I'm just saying that's what the general public, I bet, feels when there's just some really good people that have their lives together, that have created
She
their
has
own
a lot
happiness.
on the table.
That
She has
have accomplished a lot.
Photography,
See,
she's got
happy,
the fashion, she's got the acting.
married for 40
40
years.
years.
To
40
another
years.
intelligent, successful human, yeah.
And then you're like, why are you so much better than me?
Well, it sounds like she went to therapy, Tom.
It does.
Well, I can't, I'm actually better than
How
me.
does it feel to
You're
have
better than all
Aunt
of
Viv
us.
tell you need therapy?
I think she told Will Smith that too.
Probably. She probably did.
Well, me and
Quick,
Will have a lot in
quick,
common.
slap me, slap me.
Tom's the stink prince.
I want to slap everybody.
Stink prince.
Too awkward to slap, though. That's my burden. Anyway.
But you, oh my God, there's so many different ways that I can look at this. Is the crow your Jada?
Oh, no.
If the crow says something, you would get, if the crow was
That's
like,
true.
Daniel's being an asshole on the stage, get up there and slap his cheeks. You'd be like, oh, I gotta do it, Dan. I'm sorry, little buddy. I'm gonna slap you good. And you would slap my head off for that crow. You know you would.
Well, yeah, if she tells me,
Yeah.
I'll do anything.
Slap
anybody
that
tells me.
midget man up there. He's being horrible. Slap him. I'm sorry, little buddy.
Yeah.
This will hurt me more than it hurt you. And you'd slap my head right off my head.
I mean, if you were going to get rich after, I did you a favor.
Well, then I'd
Will
wing-
Smith did Chris
Well,
Rock
then
a
I'd
favor.
Chris Rock is rich. He doesn't need it.
But
Yeah,
he's
Will
not.
Smith gave Chris Rock $10 million.
You
for
are
this
correct.
one.
Chris Rock
10
is
million.
rich. But now Chris Rock is really rich.
one. He's about to get really more rich. And I think he would, if he thought about
He's
it.
worth $60 million. How much more do you need?
He's gonna-
160.
You know who actually? You know who really made him rich was Adam Sandler because he keeps putting in his crappy movies.
Yeah, but this is a lot easier. Your 1 hour special is going to sell for $15 million
you
to the
go-
highest bidder about this whole thing.
And one
he's gonna
tiny, like, half slap.
Yeah. He gets slapped by a weak arm Will Smith.
Oh, my
Weak arm Willie.
It didn't even.
Mr. Burns could have slapped people harder.
You didn't even slap him hard enough for him to miss a beat. like he wasn't even affected. So it could have been that bad. Anyway.
Let's talk
15 million.
about what we couldn't and we weren't supposed to say anything really about Will Smith
Right.
there. We did not. So I mean, I
Well,
just like to
she
get.
doesn't know. You
Well,
know,
no,
like,
but I mean, like, I think most people go. I think if you're listening to this and you got in your car and you're listening to this on your way home from work, you know, I'm going to turn on the corporate time, and you heard that, hey, they have on Viv on. Oh, they're going to ask about Will Smith. No, we are not. We're not supposed
well,
to
what
do
does
that.
she know about?
No, but you
Well,
just
it's
get
the
the
same
reaction.
thing where people wanted to ask us about Bob Saget because we were one of the last people to interview him.
Yeah.
We know nothing,
Yeah.
but people
Yeah.
associate us with him for no reason.
I'm not even going to embarrass ourselves by asking her that because I know already she'd be like, she's a
She
positive.
literally said she's not about the drama, so we're not going to ask her about that.
And she's going to be like, I did my job. It's like, this is a
I
businesswoman.
feel
She's
confident.
better than all of
I
us.
love her.
She was
She's
watching
better
the
than
Oscars.
everyone listening.
She's watching the Oscars, right? She's watching it,
Yeah.
and then Will Smith slaps him, and I bet she just was like, "Oh my heavens," and turned it off. That's it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, I think there are people that can
No,
do that.
I bet she talked a little S.
Oh.
with her husband and like
With Venus flytrap.
Like this kid was always crazy. Like, you know, or like this guy's an egomaniac.
Or you think she did a quick like?
But she hasn't
That's about
worked
right.
with him in years. She worked with him when he was a literal kid, so
I
she
know,
doesn't know what he's like as a grown man.
He was an egomaniac, but every egomaniac doesn't change.
They don't. They don't change.
They're an egomaniac when they have nothing.
the
all
thing.
the way
Wait a
till
minute.
Here's the thing about
Stink Prince over
egomaniacs.
here.
It doesn't matter how many self-help cloaks they try to paint themselves with. They do not change. 100%. He'll come out of this. You know what he's going to do. He's going to do what all egomaniacs do. He'll find God, or he'll find some new thing, or he was a sex addict, or he didn't know who he was, or he closeted gay, or not a genuine. Like, he'll go through
you
and he'll
blame it on something else.
Yeah,
You
and
blame
then-
it on like a disease or mental illness
Right.
or stress.
Yeah, it'll be
or-
something. It'll be something.
yeah,
You know who I blame mine on? Me. It's all me.
Yeah. I know when people are tired. He tried to blame it on love. He's like, "This is what they do." Where you're like, "No."
No.
You're
Also, don't say that because
Yeah.
then that you're like almost excusing like domestic violence. You're like, you made me do that. No, don't do that, Will Smith. Backtrack.
Wait a minute.
dude.
I liked it when you said it. When you said it, I got a little horny. Hold on a second. That's that seducing
I'm
thing.
seducing you guys.
Stop
Yeah.
seducing us. Good Lord.
All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back with more corporate time. Welcome back to A Corporate Time. We are recording this on 420.
Oh, yeah, buddy.
And we have to talk to Skyler from Truly.
How did we get the chance to talk to Skyler on Marijuana Christmas?
I know, you guys are so lucky. No, I mean, it's really exciting here. This is the first 420 since pre-COVID.
There you go.
So it's, it's cool to see back all the different events that people are doing and, like, how many people are waiting in line for our doorbusters and for probably even doorbusters. So it's a really exciting time.
Skyler, let's kind of go over all the 420 specials and True Leave and everything.
We'll do our best.
I know there's a lot.
Yeah. So I'll start with the doorbusters because it's 11 and I know you guys are live right now.
Yes,
so there's
ma'am.
2 more hours, 9 to 1, in-store and pickup orders. So the orders have to be placed and picked up by 1. But we have $8 brand partner pre-rolls, so like Sunshine Cannabis and Miami Mango, Ben's, Old Hippie Stash, $10 Love's Oven cookies, $15 Sweet Off True Gels, and $35 flour.
Oh, my God.
It does exclude the new strains, but, some of our strains that are favorites of our patients, they are available. $40 1 gram True Clear, $60 1 gram True Pods, and $5 True Flower and Modern Flower pre-rolls. So you have a ton of pre-rolls. It does exclude cultivar, of course, but and if you spend $200 or more, while supplies last, we're giving out True Leaf swag kits, which has like a glass chillum, so essentially like a one-hitter, rolling papers, a smell-proof sash bag, and a clipper. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's all like in a little thing, like a little container deal. Yes.
Yep. So you get the whole little bundle. It's really cool.
Skyler, I know we, often talk about new store openings and stuff, but at this point in time, I think there's a True Leave. I mean, it's got to be if you live in Florida.
Well, St. Augustine, I was just up there. There was one there. Daytona, there was one near me.
Like there will probably come to a point where, like, I think you have the whole state covered. Do you guys think, like, all right, if we open X amount of more stores, then there's a True Leave within every 10 miles of every resident in Florida?
Or is there an area that you guys need to concentrate on?
I mean, I'm not too sure if there's like an area specifically that we need to concentrate on. I mean, our goal is obviously to make this as easily accessible to patients as possible. So even people who, live in, I'm trying to think it's like the middle of the state somewhere, so maybe like Okeechobee,
like
right?
Everglades or something.
Yeah.
Exactly, Everglades. Yeah, exactly. So like we're in Okeechobee, so we want to make it so that it's easily accessible for patients because I think I've said this to y'all before, is that if there's CVS or a Walgreens on the corner, there should be a dispensary so that people can have those alternative routes of medication if they want to.
I also like the idea of like a True Leave airboat.
Oh, that would be great for delivery.
Right, for delivery in the Everglades. And Tom and I could possibly get you, because Tom, I don't know if you know this, Skyler, but Tom comes from a very long line of accomplished airboat captains. And you would airboat some medical marijuana out to the people that are living out in the camps, right?
Yeah. Still technically part owner of a piece of property in the Everglades.
Yeah.
So,
what if you put a True Leave on your piece of property and you get rich?
I don't know if there's enough.
There you go. That's technically legal, too, because the only thing that we can't do is fly product. So technically, an airboat we could use.
All right.
Really? Like, it's illegal to fly product?
Yeah,
because it's not federally regulated.
Oh, yeah.
Makes sense. There you go.
I never,
idiot.
hey, feds, trying to get my airboat. Toot, toot.
For whatever reason, I just didn't dawn on me that federal government had anything to do with the local planes around here.
It doesn't have anything to do with airplanes.
I forgot about the FAA, all that. So, Skyler, is there anything, like, do you guys ring a bell, or do you guys, like, get on one knee at 420 on 420?
Is there something you have to do in order to honor the marijuana gods?
Yeah.
No. We do have a really cool playlist that some of our teams have created, so we're going to have that stuff playing in the stores. Nice. But we don't have anything specific that's like, hey, at 420, and obviously, like, every store has their own celebratory thing that they do at that time, and they may, ring a bell or, call something out, but that's not, standard.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I feel like every store should have at least one tiny drink horn, or something.
We the best.
Every single time on 420, even like when it's not the date 420, it's just the time. It can be played.
I like that idea. Kind of like Mission Barbecue. When you go there at 11 a.m., they play the national anthem, and whether you have your brisket or not, you will stand and you will show some love for this great nation of ours.
I did not know that at 11 a.m.
Yeah, when you're there, if you're sitting home and do not stay seated and eat your Texas toast. My wife may have done that. And I'm like, what are you doing? Stand up.
So I want to remind everybody, if you enjoy all the specials True Leaf has to offer on 420, or if you get anything at True Leaf, we will send you something free in the mail. All you have to do is go to tomandan.com, click on the True Leaf free gift link.
Very easy to find.
And then you just put your address and you upload a picture of your receipt or product, and we will send you. We still got True Leaf beanies. We got BDM license plates we're sending. Eric's getting those.
Have you seen all the new hats the employees are wearing?
Yeah, I have seen those.
Oh,
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
nice. They're super duper nice. And I'll give you this. I love giving feedback to Skyler and to the listeners about like your card and the process. My card, I let it expire, and I did that on purpose because I wanted to see. What I did is I let it, basically the card part, I let that kind of go to the last day, and then the following day I went in to do my renewal because I wanted to push it. I didn't need any product. I didn't need anything. And I will tell you that the government, I paid my $75. The state of Florida was able to get me an email, and it will say at the top, you can use this as your new card, and they got it back to me in 1 business day. That's how quickly they're doing it now. They obviously see the value in it or possibly see the money in it. So they're turning those things around very, very quickly.
Yeah, it's become a lot easier.
No, I just had to help my mom renew her card, I think, last week. And she had also let hers expire, I think, by like a week or so. And I went on and did everything because I haven't done it yet for the renew on how quickly everything's being approved. And literally, as soon as you pay the $75, you're redirected back to the main site, and it was like, okay, you're approved.
Yeah, it's way better than it's ever been. So if you've been questioning it, if you're concerned, maybe a little intimidated, do not be. It's legal. It is through the state of Florida's website. You'll see when you go there.
Yeah, and if you're putting it off because you think it's what it was a couple years ago when you did it, it's not. It's so much faster. Like you put it off because you're like, oh, it's going to take me weeks to get
a couple of days.
Yeah. Or same days. So Skyler, thanks so much for talking to us and telling us about everything True Leaf has to offer.
Good luck today. Please give your staff and your team some love from us, and good luck with everything today. Happy 420.
Thanks. Happy 420.
See you, Skyler.
That is Skyler live from, I don't know where they keep her. Tiny little cubicle, working.
It must be so weird. You like operate a business, a super big business, in the state, and it's got multiple stores or whatever, and then that federally it was still illegal. It's weird, right?
Very, very odd.
How slow are we to do stuff where we can't get this right? Or like the federal government at this point, it still hasn't changed. It's crazy to me. Because I'm like, who's not on board? Who's not on board?
Yeah,
I don't even know anybody.
No, if you navigate social media enough and you find the areas where people talk about this openly, I'm not saying within the groups where everybody there supports it, you will find a bunch of old people that are very much anti it.
I'm part of the Osceola memes group.
Oh, it should be in there then.
Wow.
It should be in there.
It seems like,
it should be in there.
They have some stances on certain topics.
They do. They'll die on a hill, those guys.
But seems like marijuana is not one of them. Like, I see no anti-marijuana memes in the Osceola memes group.
I see them with
and that's my portal to...
primarily older people. I see a lot of older people.
Yeah.
I even suggested it. I think I said this last time Skyler was on. I suggested it to a friend who has a loved one that could quite possibly really benefit from, just getting their appetite back. That's an easy one, right?
Yeah.
Like how many? I got Norm in here. Norm will eat 150 milligrams and then go to Boston Fish House and eat 500 sandwiches, right? Like it'll work your appetite up. Is my point. I think everybody knows that you can get hungry with the old marijuanas, and some people just don't want to do it. They still abide by that old world stigma, that old feeling, and some people don't want to be on anything.
Let's switch gears for a second because you mentioned Boston Fish House, and I'm
just hungry and I want a Philly chicken steak.
Oh yeah, they're good.
Yeah, I heard they're really good there.
I met up with Norm.
I thought you were supposed to get the
Norm's
fish there.
Angels.
It's Boston Fish.
I feel like I need a day of fishing when my boat
Wait,
finally
what are
gets
we talking
fixed.
about?
What's wrong with the boat?
Is it a day of fishing or is it a day of fishing?
Well, the whole boat thing's a whole conspiracy theory my wife has.
Hold on a second.
What's the theory?
Pause for a second. You know what's happening here? There's a reason why the boat is broken, and we have yet to hear the tale of the broken boat. There's always
He'll
a method.
casually mention it and then move past it.
Yeah, there's always a method to the madness, which leads me to this. His wife has a crazy conspiracy theory about the boat that he doesn't believe, but she's doing the Jada. And she wants him to slap these boat people. Just go slap those boatmen. They're disrespecting your boat, you pussy. And you're like, oh, I'll get you good, Chris Rock boat. Slap, slap, slap. Is that pretty accurate?
No, well, okay.
Don't talk about it if you don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to force you to do
because this is all crazy. But anyway, the
slap, slap. Slap, slap, slap.
I needed my yearly oil change.
I know what that means too. I just did that. Finger in the.
No, it's I
did my blood work this morning.
You got to do a yearly service on a boat where they change the gear oil and the oil, and then I used to do it in my old mildew boat, and it was easy. And then I go to the YouTube video, whatever. But that was a smaller boat.
Wait, you do it yourself? Now get a guy to do it.
Is that and now I got an outboard is a 250 Yamaha. It's a bigger motor than I've ever dealt with, and I don't want to screw it up, right? Even though the damn thing to get the yearly service is like $700, and there's really nowhere cheaper.
That's one swim lesson.
That's owning a boat.
My sister did say, she's like, just do it yourself. She's like,
your sister.
She does all the stuff herself.
Have you seen how capable Jen is? Mm-hmm. I swear to God, she with no Jen, no air T&D. She is the most valuable Jen. I give her the award. Man, she was in there twisting, banging, and fixing things and putting things together and stopping him from breaking things. It was awesome.
I'm like, I don't want it because there's a reason. And
have Jen do it.
This is not just like the dealership. I'm talking like the mobile boat mechanic. Like it's just expensive.
Have your sister do it.
No,
keep it in the family. Pay her to do it.
No,
she's smart and capable.
No, I know she is, but it's a reason why it's expensive. So I need to get a professional.
What, you need a special wrench? Buy the wrench.
You got to change the impeller, the water pump that every 2 years. Anyway, there's some other complications. The spark plugs I'd never done before. The oil and the gear lube I could probably do. Anyway, I just throw money at it, because I don't have time. I'm already stretched thin. Tony's yelling at me that I'm getting things wrong.
What about the guy we met in Satellite Beach? There was a guy in Satellite Beach that when we went to the Villain locals only surf competition, we met a BDM who is a mobile boat mechanic.
He is on. No, actually, he has a boat. It's not a mechanic. He doesn't deal with the engines. He deals with everything else. So like
everything else,
all the other, the whole, the electronics, all that. Anyway. So I got it done at the place, the marina that I keep my boat, right?
Okay.
And then, because I usually get a mobile boat mechanic to do it, but that I found on Craigslist years ago. Yeah. But I looked at the prices, and it was like $60 difference. It was more expensive for the marina to do it.
You get a mobile, or so you normally get the guy to come from where?
I don't know. I have to bring the boat to my house, and then he comes to my house and does it. I just call him or whatever. But anyways.
But the boat is in your possession is what I'm trying to get to.
Not right now. It's at the marina.
No, Can he not work on it at the marina?
Well, maybe he can, but I imagine it's awkward for him to tell the marina to pull it out because they got a mechanic service, and then he's working in the.
Yeah.
So if he's cheaper than their mechanic service?
But only
you're
by
undercutting them. Your third party undercut. No, I'm going to go in there. I'm going to crap in your glove box. I'm going to open up your little glove box where all your koozies are, and I'm going to lay a big wing houser in
It's only a $60 difference. Just leave it there and let them do it.
That's what I did.
Okay.
Because it makes sense.
Why are you yelling at Sam?
Because I'm yelling at my wife. Really.
Don't yell at her.
because she's like, why'd you do something different than you normally do? This is why it's happened. Anyway, so then they called me. And they were like,
"Sir, there's a deuce in your glove box. It's stinking up the entire boatyard."
And we had just taken the boat out all the way to Pontoon Island and back. Had a great day. And then I was like, I need to get a service. I'm gonna. This was 3 months ago or 2 months ago.
Whoa.
And then so I'm like, can you do it? You have to be put on a waiting list, whatever. I'm like, I'm no hurry. So they called me. They're like, sir, we started the service and we noticed the top screw for your transom, where your gear oil goes, is missing. So obviously water was getting in there and into your gear lube, and that's not good, right? And then we spun the prop and it's grinding crazy. And then I'm like, oh, I screamed out, F!
Yeah.
F! F! So because anything with boats, it is insanely expensive. Like, I don't even know, but I'm just getting ready for the most insane number being thrown at me. Like,
plus, the weird thing is you can't see it, so everything they're giving you is like kind of a tall tale. It's like you're not there looking at it.
So I already know her theory now.
So then she's like, she's like, we gotta open it up and look at the gears, but
wait a minute, what are you guys gonna do? You're not mechanics.
Not us. No, they were saying we got to open it up and see how much damage is in there. We'll call you back, and then it's go. Man, it's gonna be bad.
Gotta call you back.
That's what it made it sound like.
And when we call you back, there will be blood.
And so then I tell my wife.
Never tell her. You should have just spent it. Put it on the business card. I approve it. Put it on the business card. No headache.
It may be too much. I don't know what it's gonna be.
$22,000. That's all we have in our bank account right now. $22,000.
And then so I tell my wife, and then she's like, "It was working fine when we went out that day. I think they just told you that because they saw how gullible you are, and they
saw that.
This is
that's just her throwing shade at you.
You're an idiot, and you were wearing your who farted hat, and they saw you wear the who farted hat.
They knew you were an idiot,
and they knew you were a ding dong, grade A ding dong.
And like, this is what mechanics do. They go in there, they're like, oh, we found a bunch of spiders in here, or whatever.
That happened to my husband's amp actually, but he let me see the spiders. That's a true story.
That's the dumbest thing you've ever said on the show.
That's a true story. He took pictures of it with his cell phone. He's like, "Look at this. It's crazy."
And then she's like, "You should have just used George."
Shout out to George.
And then so now she got me paranoid. I'm like, they don't do that anymore. That's like she saw some 2020 Dateline.
Well, you already had suspicions they were taking your boat out, right?
That was a different review. Yeah, I changed that. Yeah.
If you own a boat, you're gonna want to see our next story.
Yeah, and then it's the guy
Unsolved
ripping out
mysteries.
He's under the hood, is ripping out the air filter. He's
Our
like,
hidden camera is revealed.
He's cutting the tubes.
Two guys talking about a guy that they claimed was a grade A ding dong gullible a-hole.
And so her theory being that everything was fine, that they just find some problem, like, oh, you got the screw fell out and you got to replace this now. So
why can't they just put the screw back in? Just say put the screw back in. It's fine.
Because they said water got in there,
but they didn't open it up yet. You don't know.
Then they called me and they're like. And this is what's the suspicious part is. I hope they don't hear this reducing.
How much money do you have? And then you're like, hello, this is Top.
Hi, this is Boatman. How much money do you have?
In my savings account?
Yes. How much money do you have in your savings account?
I don't know, about 40,000, give or take.
The repairs are going to cost about $39,000.
Okay. Is that what happened?
No, they just said they don't have the proper tool to get what they need to get.
Why not? They're a goddamn mechanic.
What did I say? I said, do you need a special wrench?
Order,
I know that this is the thing. They're giving you the thing.
And they said they're like, I've never seen anything like this.
Okay, well now I'm with Crystal. Now I'm with Crystal.
You've never seen anything
like this. It's the spiders, it's the special wrench.
A 250 Yamaha outboard engine. I'm pretty sure that's a standard out there. I don't know.
We think there might be a poltergeist in here.
You need a special tool? You've never done this before? Like what's wrong with mine? That is it rusted on there? Like, I know there's rust.
They didn't
say. They're like, and then they're like, we'll call you back. That was weeks ago.
You need to do that move where you're calling
them.
them.
I'm waiting for the super high bill.
You need to do that move where you're calling them, but you're in the parking lot. And then when they hang up, walk in and be like, ha ha!
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Show me the spiders. And make them show you.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing.
Do you want me to take this over and handle it for you?
Crystal's like,
You probably should.
You got to go
she's
down
like,
there.
I'm like, well, they'll show me the parts.
they're not gonna
and
show you
then
nothing.
she's like, they have those parts in the back. And
Yeah.
they show
Yeah.
them. Like,
She's
they're
right.
like, this is
They've got an engine just like yours back there.
I'm
They'll
like-
take it. It's got preloaded spiders in it. They're like, look at these spiders. The spiders are giving thumbs up.
And
They're
I'm
like, we
that's-
got you, boss.
You're being paranoid. They don't do that. Like this doesn't happen anymore. This is 2022. It's no one does this.
Why do you think that when anybody checks my air conditioner, except for American Air and Heat because they're reputable, I would walk out there with them? I'm like, let me walk out there with
What do you know?
Oh, that is so awkward.
No, I walk out there with him to make sure they're not back. The guy's back there, and he reaches in his pocket. He pulls out, I don't know, something and shoves it in the thing. And look, it's making a clicking noise.
But that's what I told Crystal because she's like, make sure you go there and then you see it in person. And I'm like, well, what do I know? Like they're gonna pull off some gears. And like, look at this. They'll look how bad
Look
it
at
is.
this.
And then I'm gonna look at him and be like, nah, it looks pretty bad. I guess.
Go the opposite guy. I don't know. It looks pretty good to me.
But then what?
Call their bluff.
But what if they're telling the truth and they're like, this is obviously
Is anyone telling
bad.
the truth?
Well, I have to
Name
believe.
one person that tells the truth. I'm waiting. Change my mind.
I don't think that happens anymore. I think it's just like, hey, this is broken. Do you want to fix it? Okay, no, go get the hell out of here.
What's
Like,
weird is
I
that
don't know.
they're not giving you like more details. I'm
Well,
with
they
Chris.
assume that I don't know anything because they have me listed as Dodo next to my name.
You got flagged. You got flagged. Like me at
No,
the dentist. I got flagged for being a bad patient.
But unless you're a boat mechanic, like no one knows nothing. So you explaining the intricacies of how the lower unit on your outboard motor works, like I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Like I'm not a outboard motor mechanic.
But you said it was working fine.
Yeah, but it still could be working fine, and then that screw could have been out, and water been getting in the gear lube, and it been grinding up the gears. Like I didn't go back there and tell Crystal like rev it up, so listen to the gears. It was underwater. Like I don't know. That's what I told Crystal. She's like, I didn't hear anything. I'm like, well, what do you know? You're not a mechanic.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
You're like,
What if you bring your guy out there?
No,
with
you never do that.
Okay.
They get mad. Then you get the deuce.
Yeah. You don't want to get the deuce.
That's cockholding the other mechanics. You bring your mechanic because you're saying you don't trust them. Because you still need a good relationship. They bring my boat in and out of the water.
Just say you need some alone time with it. Just say I need some alone time with my boat. And then when they all leave, they'd get in it. Look at the spiders.
Yeah, if you bring, and it's also like when you bring your own buddy that's a mechanic to the Craigslist deal. The owner don't like that either
they
because
hate that.
you're basically
They're
saying
on to me.
You're trying to screw me. You're insulting the person.
I don't give a damn. As long as I'm not getting screwed over.
Yeah, but
You care about what people think about
They
you.
are trying to screw him over. And
Right,
if he
and
brings
I don't
his
want
own
that.
mechanic, it'll blow up the whole thing. All right.
This is how awkward I am with any of these things. The other day I was blowing leaves.
I hope this is a quick story.
Yeah, because
And-
we got
oh,
You want
yeah.
to save it?
I'll tell you because
Let's save
it's the craziest thing you've ever heard.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time. All right, here's the story.
All right.
So it's a story about how I don't.
Have I heard this before?
No,
Okay.
this just happened, and it's stupid and it's small.
Why
but
are you prefacing?
Anyway, I don't like to hurt people's feelings or whatever.
no.
Neither
Anyway.
do I, but sometimes you do.
So I'm out there.
You hurt my feelings weekly.
I'm trying to blow some last minute leaves.
Never rush blow.
And so I have a cord leaf blower, right?
A corded leaf blower.
Yeah, because
I have a corded leaf blower. That's the kind I like. Cordless, you don't get enough blow.
yeah, enough strength.
Yeah.
Now the batteries, and that has changed with battery technology. So
Not according to my dead father.
Yeah.
He's still dying on the hill from heaven. He hates anything with a battery in it.
and so they've gotten
Gas
better.
or electric only.
Yeah, but the corded ones I've found to be stronger. So I've got a pretty powerful one because I got so many leaves. Anyway, I'm blowing real quick, and my neighbor's super nice guy. He often loans me like pressure washer tips or like
I hope you
loan me
wash those things
buffer.
before you use them.
A buffer. One time he saw me trying to hand buff my boat, and he's like, "I got a buffer," and it vibrated my hands to
Oh my God. Probably
burn crazy.
Probably shook that screw out.
Yeah, and so. Anyway,
What if that's what it was?
So he was, he's a super nice neighbor that sees me and tries to help each time he sees me
It's like,
doing
oh, this
something.
dingus is out here
Is
again.
he an older neighbor or a younger neighbor?
He
Or 40 like you? Old 40 like you?
He is about 40 like me. So anyway, he comes out. He's like, hey, he's like, Tom, I got something for you. I got a cordless leaf blower, a DeWalt powerful one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, you're gonna love this. He's like, I saw you messing around with the cord.
You're gonna like the way you look.
And then so he gives it to me. But
I saw you messing with a cord. I gotta let you try this.
but I already know it's less powerful
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I've been blowing leaves for a while
It's
now.
like when my
and
wife gives me a solution to the problem that I already tried, and I'm like, will you please shut up?
And so he's like, here's an extra battery. Here, you can just drop it off of
Here's
my
some
front.
safety goggles. Put these on. Keep the sand out of your eyes.
He's like, drop it off my front door when you're done, and no problem. You can have it. I'm like, oh, thank you,
Hey,
thank
and
you.
Tom, you can thank me later.
So then I put down my cord leaf blower that's more powerful
Yeah.
that will get the job done faster.
Yeah.
And then I take the cordless one and I start blowing.
Oh, I like how you made a weaker noise too. That's good. That's good prov. When he's
And then I just stood out there as long as he was just watching me.
because you were too afraid that you
hurt
would
his feelings.
disappoint it. It's not
Yeah,
going to hurt his
yeah,
feelings if
yeah.
you go, oh, Phil, this one's more powerful.
Yeah.
But hey, thank you for the gesture,
Exactly.
buddy.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And this thing's, I love the cordless, but these are a little more powerful. All you do is just power
Be
through
honest.
it.
Yeah, but he was so excited to help me out with
But
his
that doesn't
new
matter.
But
DeWalt.
he didn't help you out.
And then he was excited to watch me do it, and he was excited
This
to help.
is such
so
a
I-
waste of
I
time.
didn't
he
want.
cares too much about what other people think.
This is why you
Tell-
have no time. This is why. If you
I don't want to
didn't-
disappoint him.
If you didn't
Why
do
not?
this, you wouldn't sit at your desk with your hands shaking, going, "I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time." You would if you didn't stand there and use a little leaf blower. Puff, 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 puff. That's what it sounds like. Little puff,
Yeah.
little puff of air.
Then I was out there too long. The crow starts yelling. She's like, "What are you doing? Did you blow the leaves again?" And then
Be quiet. I'm trying to not hurt someone's feelings.
I had to store the leaf blower in my garage to make him feel like I used it for the whole night.
No,
then bring
he
it back the
told
next
you to
morning.
put it on his thing.
Well, I had to bring it back late. I couldn't bring it back right then because
Why
he's like,
not?
"Well, you didn't use it enough."
Oh my
He's
God!
not going to say that.
You think that he's gonna be? Look,
He's not going to monitor how many
you
leaves
even-
Hey.
you've blown.
Did you
Tom,
even use it?
Tom, I got to level with you. This is Phil that just loaned you the cordless. Okay. I was looking through my window the entire time. I didn't even take my eyes off of you one time. And I noticed two things. I noticed, A, you had a weird, confused look on your face like that the leaf blower wasn't powerful enough. And you also, I noticed that you were going through the motions and taking longer. I saw you actually standing in a place where there were no leaves, blowing to make it seem like you were still using the leaf blower. What's going on here? What's going on here, bub? No one's gonna say that.
No one.
No one will say that ever. That is that's crazier than my fear of flying.
You're an
That's
insane
crazier
person.
than any fear I have. That's crazier than any type of crazy I could ever be. Is the fact that you don't want to hurt his feelings, so you go through the motions of using a cordless leaf blower.
In the words of Aunt Viv, you need therapy.
Therapy, lots of it, she said.
Lots of it. Lots of
All
help.
right, let's move on. What do we got here?
All right, you want to do some voicemails,
Yeah,
emails?
yeah.
Yeah, we can do one. Remember Pepsi Nitro?
Yes, I do.
And we tried it, and this guy's weighing in on that.
BDM Nels from Minnesota here. I'm listening to your guys' taste test that Pepsi Nitro right now, and you're kind of contemplating like making their money and stuff like that.
Hold on.
I gotta
What
tell
was
you,
I believe that was a listener veto. I think we got one. You are not alone, buddy.
and you're kind of contemplating like
Yeah.
making their money and stuff like that.
And you're crocking it like a rockadaga.
I heard crocodile hot wing.
Well, vetoes attract other vetoes.
Veto sharpens veto. is
because
what
they're
I-
like, there's someone on the radio just like us.
Oh, there's someone rocking him in a crocadaga.
Crocodile.
You gotta rock it in the crocadaga.
I gotta tell you, I used to make. I actually used to be what's called a blender for a company called Whispack, which is a subsidized, a company that Pepsi pays to make their product, basically. So everything from the teas to kickstarts to all their pop flavors, mug root beer, cream soda, all that good stuff.
Mug or
Got
root
some
beer.
great stories about.
Not mug rock bar. This guy. Oh my God,
leave
you are
him
the
alone.
sloppiest mouth. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Do you even have any bones in your lips? Are there things moving? What's happening? Is there anything rigid there, or is it just a floppy mess?
Crap going bad in the blending room where we mix it all and everything like that, which is what I used to do. But Pepsi doesn't make money on Pepsi. Pepsi's main money maker.
Oh my God!
Spit it out.
I'm just listening to our show in the
I
background.
know.
Yeah.
Also, who is that? Like blasting our show? Like, I'm gonna call these guys. Don't turn down
I'm going to
those.
stand next to the
Turn
speaker.
down for what?
Like, is someone else listening and you don't want to stop it because or is it just you?
Yeah.
And you don't notice
Too
that?
lazy.
Too lazy to hit pause or just tell Alexa to stop. It's
Also, aren't
blasting.
you playing this from your phone? You can't make a phone call and play stuff from your phone. That's not possible.
So is he basically saying there's just some sort of, second ancillary company that Pepsi pays that handles all these
Like a
niche-
consultant.
the specialty
that does
drinks.
the
Yeah.
specialty stuff.
And it's just to whip up some, hype and then fade away or whatever. I mean, we're talking about Pepsi.
yeah, it's just a marketing.
When would we
there.
talk about Pepsi?
Yeah. And then their factory that just pumps out the regular Pepsi, Diet Pepsi, and all the other brands, that just never stops. And then all this promotional stuff is just, sublet it out to a different company. Yeah, makes sense. I mean, dude, when you get that big, it is crazy like how big that company is, right? With the amount of employees, the amount of stuff they own, and like infrastructure and distribution and stuff like. It's crazy big.
It's impressive.
And then you get to that level and like you have unlimited money to do what you want, so not only do you have like probably an insane amount of liquid cash, but you can probably get cash easily or whatever. So, and then when it comes to market, they're spending, $50 million on some like maybe this Nitro Pepsi marketing campaign. And it just poof goes out there to all these other marketing agencies and this company and
the thing
crazy.
The thing that I always think of is, and because people get mad, they'll be like, "Who's buying this? This is gonna fail." Well, I always think of it in a different way. I always think of it in terms of like, well, they already budgeted for this. Like they already knew they were
They
going
to get it out.
This is something that was planned like 2.5 years ago, man. Like this isn't like you think that Pepsi Nitro was just something they thought about like during the pandemic, like and they just crapped it out. I don't think that's the way it works.
No, it's not like our show.
We're the only people that try to pull
get
off
it out.
Yeah, we try to pull off an Airbnb in 1 week.
Yeah.
There's an army of people working on this. Also, it is budgeted into their marketing campaign, so it doesn't have to be successful.
No.
It's successful by the means that people are talking about it, just like us.
Correct.
And every, like those kind of things.
This might be the only reason they did it.
Yeah, they budgeted to lose money or to just put it under marketing expense, which is you could write off anyway.
Yep.
Like companies can write off all marketing. So they do a
write
certain
that down.
amount. You can, all that it doesn't, comes off your total revenue. They are putting money into things even if it purposely loses money for marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Sam, you got an email over there?
Sure.
Let's jump into one of those guys.
Let's see here. Phone number. I just thought you should know that your parents' phone number, and then in parentheses it says, "I'm not a stalker, you gave it out on air."
I did.
It spells out DumpFit0X or FunPeg80X. Some good comedy in looking at those Volusia numbers because 386 spells fun. Anyway, thank you for reading this pointless email.
All right.
BDM postcard guy.
Yeah, that's the guy that sends us postcards. From all across the globe. And then he usually puts like a scratch and sniff sticker on there, which is weird, but I enjoy it.
Are they ever going to have to add any more numbers, or with the area code we have numerically, it's so much
I think that's
we're
gone.
fine, right?
I think that's gone. I think because so many people have moved away from the landline, I think they've kind of
Yeah, but there's more numbers out there now.
There are,
like
but
everybody's got a personal number.
And every child has a phone too.
Well, but my point with that is that I don't the point of the area code was just for geographic, and I think cell phones kind of negate all of that, right? Like you could get like your wife still has a Miami number, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying it doesn't matter anymore. The landline, the area codes, that's the only reason you needed that.
Well, also they were running out of numbers, and that's why they added the area code, right? In the 80s.
I think so.
I believe so.
I remember like
I
as a
remember the
kid
Switch, yeah.
having to do the Switch and like, oh, this is a new thing.
We
and
switched
being crazy.
from into land, and I looked it up to confirm because I had some people like come at me. They did the at me kind of deal, like, you're wrong, Dan. No, I'm not wrong. I remembered it correctly. 904 used to be parts of Volusia. Now, 904 traditionally is like Jacksonville area. But we had, me growing up, my original area code was 904. And then somewhere in the 90s, early 2000s, I want to say like 99, between like 99 or 2003, they flipped us to 386, and they took all those 904 numbers back.
Yeah.
But I remember that happening. I remember my dad being pissed off. Like, he didn't understand that it really did nothing, like it didn't do anything, but he was just worried about like any of his like friends or clients would have an older number and the 904 number wouldn't ring through to him. That's a good,
yeah.
I mean.
The sales guy, I think, is like,
He's like, you're killing me, like.
I always knew it was 407, and I thought 321 was the other Orlando.
I thought you were right.
But according to the internet, it's 689.
I've never heard of a 689.
I've never heard 689 either.
I've heard of 321, and like in Miami it's 305 and 786. They added the 786.
Okay, so 321 is an overlay area code for the Orlando area, including Orange, Seminole, and Osceola counties. But 689 is Orlando specific. That is weird.
So you'd have to be old school to have a 689.
Or like Orlando City proper.
Right. It's like if I had, I have landlines, but they're new, and my landlines are all 321.
Weird.
So
that is weird.
So a company reached out to advertise with us, and I heard another company that does some similar service advertise on a podcast I listen to. So it seems like it's maybe a hot thing right now.
Yeah.
But it's a company that helps you change your what's your personal
your VPN
number on your cell phone.
Yep.
And like and so basically you pay a service, and then you can set your VPN to other countries.
We're on it right now. We are literally broadcasting live from Belgium.
So this basically is a service that offers what you and other probably computer nerds have been doing for a while. It just offers it to us laymen.
The one time we didn't do it, this is a true story. The one time we didn't do it, and this is not shade towards this individual. The one time we didn't do it, Lee like illegally downloaded a song from this band called The Sword, and boy did they send me an email fast saying I needed to pay for that song.
Because off your...
Oh, they knew exactly where we were at. They're like, well, it came from this address in the Baldwin Park in Orlando. Blah, blah, blah. Here you are, and here's what you downloaded, and here's the site you took it from, and I had to go through there and stroke them a check for $117.
But the reason why I bring that up is because that tells me that maybe there's a demand for people to be anonymous.
People like their privacy, like people don't want you... just the idea of people knowing. I have friends of mine that hate that iTunes, like in some messaging forms, when you just be running it in the background, it would just put it up there as like letting all of your friends know what you're listening to, or on Spotify, letting your friends know which songs you're listening to. Some people don't even like that.
No.
Like, I don't even want you knowing what I'm doing.
That's why I'm not logging into Netflix at the AT&D. Don't be looking at what I'm watching.
I don't really care. Like when I'm on Xbox, they're like, do you want your friends to know which games you're playing? I'm like, I don't care.
That's dying, by the way, because I feel like all the new generation is going to be so commonplace for everybody to be tracking you and know your geographic location and where you are and what you're looking at, that no one's going to have a problem with it. Or the vast majority are going to be so used to it that, that's what people are worried about. But still, it's like my sons are growing up like this. They're never going to feel like an invasion of privacy because they never had it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They've always been on the internet. And
or they'll have
the
it for
internet's
other things. They'll have it for other things that aren't the things that we think it's an overreach, right?
Or
because they're drawing their own line in the sand.
Yeah, or it shifts, and then people are like, they have the VPN service so that every kid is anonymous on their phone. I don't know.
I mean, where VPN really rules is if like you want to enter a sweepstakes that's in another country. Then you can enter it by cloaking where you're actually, or if you want to buy tickets, or if you want to watch, let's say, EPL, you want to watch like some European soccer, you could log in under a VPN. If you wanted to watch all NFL games, you could log in under a VPN and watch from London, and then you're not going to get the same feed, but you are going to get access to everything that you wouldn't get in North America.
There's probably like FCC rules about me because I'd like to log in to places that like FanDuel and other sports books are legal, and then like have a VPN that I'm from New York or New Jersey or whatever. Or,
I don't know how that
Nevada.
works. I guess you could. I don't know if that's illegal or not. I don't know.
Well, it's probably really hard to do and not so easy. But like to go in other countries, like obviously there's these companies that offer it easily. So you can do a VPN from Costa Rica, I guess, or whatever. But it doesn't get you in FanDuel in New York.
Right.
And if it did, I guess, and if you actually won a bunch of money, you may have to verify, because you have to put your social security number and stuff in those websites. And it probably wouldn't cross-reference. You'd have to make a whole fake account with a identity and New Jersey, whatever. It would be too much of a pain in the ass.
Let's try this voicemail. We were talking about like reggae bands and like local or Florida punk and reggae bands, and Less Than Jake came up.
Hey guys, it's Tim from Dayton. I'm listening to the ACT where you guys nerd out a little bit about Less Than Jake. And it's reminding me of, I was a Full Sail kid, and I lived there in Central Florida for a while. And my favorite part about living in Central Florida was the number of Less Than Jake shows I got to see as a Less Than Jake fanboy. It was the best part about living in that state. I'm so jealous that I don't get to see that show. Man, it's going to rule.
Come down for the hurricane party. They're playing.
Down. Yeah, man. I mean, we got an Airbnb you can stay at.
Someone rented it.
Well, maybe you can.
They jumped on that weekend fast.
Maybe you can sleep in the courtyard.
So my wife has done this a little bit where she has seen the Avett Brothers a bunch of times and like actually went and saw them at Red Rocks and stuff. And like I'm jealous of the people that have a band that they see multiple times in multiple locations or whatever.
Andrea does that.
Like
I don't really do that. I've seen some really good concerts. I went to see John Mayer a couple weeks ago. I will put that up there as sonically an amazing show to see. But
you haven't seen John Mayer a dozen times.
I'm not going to see him a dozen times. I don't have that kind of money. But
I got a handful of bands I've seen dozens of times.
Yeah, Sam.
But it's smaller bands.
I'd put Sam in that category for sure.
What band have you seen the most?
Oh God, I'd have to think about that. Probably Newfound Glory or Rancid.
Those are both
I've
good
seen
choices.
them both like 5 or 6 times.
I think those are great bands to have seen multiple times.
Taking Back Sunday a lot.
I've seen Taking Back Sunday probably 7 or 8 times. I've seen The Used probably 7 or 8 times. I've seen, my favorite bands though. It goes the opposite direction. My favorite band as a kid was Red Hot Chili Peppers. I've only seen them one time.
You going this time?
No, I don't think I am because I saw them at a time when I really, really loved their catalog. I saw them at a time when, you had Mother's Milk was my favorite album, and then Blood, Sugar, Sex Magic. They were supporting that album, and those 2 albums, that was my era of Red Hot Chili Peppers. I liked the Uplift Mofo Party Plan, the original albums, Mother's Milk, and then Blood, Sugar, Sex Magic. When they got into the Californication thing, they went a little more soft rock. They started appealing more to like fraternity guys and being
a little more mainstream,
more of a mainstream rock. And there's nothing wrong with that. They
more like pop rock.
They are an amazing band, and they are still great. They just didn't fall into what I would consider what I want to listen to daily. Right? So I've only seen them one time, and I saw them when they had the flaming hats on, and they were playing Give It Away. It was their like last song. Pretty amazing. I don't think I'll be able to top it, so I'm just going to take that and live with it.
Socks are the best thing to cover your genitals with because...
Thank you, Grandpa. He came out and wandered out of the attic. He just yelled that.
Interesting.
Because there's you can't tell where it ends, anyway.
That's actually... He's right about that.
I guess that only works for guys, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you did it, I think you need to go to the doctor. I'd be like, you need to get some help.
Bye-bye. Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producer, is here. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
And a very special guest commandeering the couch today. Everybody knows him as Tuddle, but is our good friend Patrick Fowler.
Hey, guys.
Of the Tuddle Daily Podcast.
Yes, Tuddle Daily Podcast.
What's been popping in Tuddle Daily Podcast,
I had Bob Fryer on. I've been having news people on, and they've been, the ones that are out and giving me dirt. So.
I love Bob Fryer. Good man. I love the Bob Fryer. So check that out. Where can people find Tuddle Daily Podcast?
YouTube.com/Tuddle and on all podcasting platforms.
There you go.
Well, a big event's coming up in Sanford on Saturday, May 28th. It's the 15th annual Hurricane Party.
Yeah, buddy. Iconic. That is an iconic event in downtown historic Sanford, Florida.
And there are tons of bands and acts. And on the line with us to talk about the Hurricane Party from St. Thomas, in which it was hard for him to call internationally,
yes.
Which we thought, we're recording this on 420. We were like, maybe the wrong time to talk to John Gosling.
It's like
it's on island time.
It's like on New Year's Eve trying to, or like Christmas Eve trying to get a hold of Santa. You just can't do it.
On the line, John Gosling. How you doing, John?
Not bad, man. They make it like we're in Zimbabwe or something sometimes, trying to deal with the states when we're actually the United States Virgin Islands.
Right.
Yeah.
It should be easy. Yeah.
And we were talking about that even before you got on the line. We had talked about area codes here in the States and how weird that can be. And then don't even get me started with international numbers, and you got to put the plus 44 in ahead of time, then put the 1, then put the thing. But hey, we got you, and we appreciate the time, man.
Back at you, man. Thank you guys so much for having me. Looking forward to the Hurricane Party.
Yeah, no, it's going to be great. But John, I got a question for you about living on the island, because it seems to me that everybody I encounter that lives on an island, like when I go there on vacation or visit or whatever, everybody is like, 70% less stressed than the rest of in the world.
That's a good number.
To the point where, the joke of island time, you hear that stereotype. And is that true, John? Or is that us, over here living in cities, just
projecting our own dream of what we want?
Yeah. Is everybody less stressed?
No, it's very real. It's not a myth. It happens even for me if I go stateside for a few days. You get on the highway or whatever, and it kind of hits me. It's a little intense. Get kind of like a culture shock without even leaving the country, quote unquote. And you see like the police presence and just everything. There's so many more people. A lot of things that we don't have here on island. So even for me to come back home after a few days, even just right there in Florida, I get back and I just feel this little switch gets, on the back of your neck. It gets hit, and you feel that pressure release, and you feel it, all the way down through your shoulders, and you really do snap back into gear of just being on the rock.
And have you been there your entire life? Is this been your home for forever, or how long have you been there?
Well, I was born in the States in New Jersey, and thanks to my grandfather back in the 70s, just seeing the beauty of the Virgin Islands, he bought a place down here on St. Thomas back in 1972, and
wow.
And so my parents grew up coming on vacation since they were teenagers, and then so when my sisters and I were born, it was our second home.
Whoa.
And right before I was going to high school, my parents made it full time, so I've been here full time since 1999.
That is freaking amazing, man. So it's kind of cool that you got the aspect of being able to compare a little bit of like stateside living to, and compare and contrast, because I don't know if I would appreciate it as much just growing up there the entire time. So you're able to kind of look at it from both eyes, and certainly I'm sure you enjoy
see the benefits.
Yeah. Give us some of the benefits of living there and being a little more laid back.
Yeah, I really do appreciate it, though, because I having that both perspective. I got to play Little League in the States growing up. I got to go to my first punk shows and play sports and whatnot, music, be in that scene, in the rock scene. And then also, right in a obviously transitional time as a teenager, making full time here in the islands, it was an important time, and getting to join the and to get to your question of my favorite things of living here is the music and the rhythms and the culture, which musically joined quite nicely in an interesting way. Taking like calypso music.
Yeah, let's talk about
mixing
that.
With like rock music.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. You work with the Villains. You work with, Mad Caddy's massive fan. We play them on the show all the time. You're no stranger to punk rock and reggae and stuff like that, calypso music. How did you start basically your musical journey, and how did you start, how did you hook up with Dom and Scart and these guys that certainly we know?
Yeah. Man, I vividly remember walking into the little offshore bar here on St. Thomas back in, I said '01, Scart said '02, but regardless, it's 20 years ago. I walked in to see the boys, and they were singing "We All Been 17," and I was singing right along, and I wasn't even 17 yet.
That's crazy.
But so yeah, I went to college in Puerto Rico, and I had always kind of popped up stateside and to kind of sneak up on the boys wherever they were playing, and North Carolina at a time, a couple times around Florida, and then I was after college I was working a direct marketing job, going door to door around Tampa, where my parents had moved.
Yeah.
And we were on a road trip to Gainesville. Walked in and on the Villains again, snuck up on them again, and got a call from Dom first thing next morning saying, "Hey, we're about to go on the road with the Mad Caddies and Pepper. Would you like to come sell our merch?" And I had never been west of Clearwater in my life, and the first show of that tour was Valentine's Day of 2007. So I said, "Sign me up," and we, jumped on I-10 with the boys. I dropped my 6-day-a-week door-to-door direct marketing job to go on the road with these guys and sling some T-shirts. And both Pepper and the Caddies saw me coming up, and they till to this day still call me Young Buck. And they just saw me coming up and eager, and they both offered me positions by the end of that tour. Next thing I knew, by a year later, I had been to 35 countries with the Mad Caddies, thanks to music.
That's awesome, man. And what a dream come true, But I do think, and Tom, you'd probably agree with this, it takes kind of a special person to take advantage of those type of opportunities.
Yeah. Well, you got to be a hustler, and you
got to be tough.
Yeah. Well, speaking of being tough, John, I got to ask you about a phenomenon known as beach kids. So
beach kids are hard.
They're and it used to be more prevalent than it is today because so many beachfront properties are just being bought up by old millionaires that just let them sit there. So less and less people grow up on the beach that don't have as much.
It's like it's exclusive to no one.
But there are beach kids that roam the beaches that are seemingly unwatched by anybody, and they're independent.
The lightest of hair, but the toughest of feet.
Yeah, and they're just like wild animals roaming the beaches. There'll be like a 6-year-old just fishing barefoot with no shirt, no water.
They're feral.
Yeah, they're feral beach kids. John, did you grow up like that? And am I accurate with the phenomenon of beach kids?
No doubt about it. And proud to be one of those kids. And I got a beach kid named Brixton. He's inside. He turned a year and a half yesterday.
Congrats.
My son Brixton, and thank you so much. And he's.
Did you rescue him, or is it yours?
That's true.
They told me that he belonged to me.
Okay.
They told me. And he's also got a little brother and sister in there. We're not sure which one it is yet.
Get into business, Mr. John Gazzi.
Right.
Listen, John, I know
we have sex in the Virgin Islands. No virgins.
Your son is probably already getting ready to roam the beach, start fishing, surfing.
He's going to start his own family soon.
I mean, he's walking as soon as he's close to surfing.
Swimming,
right?
yeah.
He's a commercial fisherman. He's got his own vessel.
Island people don't use condoms.
Hey, you know the Canary Islands, not a single canary. The Virgin Islands, same deal.
Yeah. I love a good island dad joke.
Well, speaking of that, John, when are you going to teach your son to start? What's the age? Because I'm sure, you're a surfer yourself.
Yeah.
So, when do you get him on a board?
He touched his feet to a skateboard. It was the day he was a month old. And literally has four skateboards in his little play area in the house, and he just goes to it. He just has fun with it, and we get him into the ocean as often as possible.
Yeah,
we haven't really been catching waves yet, but
in his blood.
Little beach rat.
My sons don't even know how to ride a bike.
Yeah,
I have to put elbow pads, knee pads, a helmet. I'm like, you don't have
they
jeans
barely
on?
know how to walk.
We're just surrounded by it. Honestly, we're surrounded by it. From my porch here, looking right off directly to the north, I can see 15 places where when the day is right, you could catch a wave.
Here's the question.
Literally,
that's awesome.
Here's the thing that Tom and I always try to think about, and we always get the wrong answer. do you ever get bored of it? Like you're there. I was watching a video of you on YouTube. You were like sitting on like the banister of this beautiful balcony, and then behind you is like some sort of like it looks like a paradise of a bay, and then the sun is shining down like it's rays from Jesus's eyes, like cascading over the mountains. And I'm like, oh my God! But do you ever look around and you're like, God, I don't know, man.
I wish I had a city.
I definitely got ants in my pants. I can't sit around too long. You know, rock fever as they call it, just like island time. Island fever is not a myth either. Like it's, you know, you get stir crazy on an island of only 13 by 3 miles.
Right.
You know, it definitely you got to be always moving and shaking. But I'm fortunate enough to have a boat. I've had my boat going on 10 years now, and you know, I'll load my PA system in and all my gear and all my friends and all their gear, including the supervillains who multiple times have toured on my boat. And, you know, I've played on 10 different islands, so I'm able to, like, get off the island and look back at it and admire it. And apart from you know, it could be like middle school living on the island. Everyone kind of knows each other's business. Yeah. So that part kind of can creep up a little bit on you. But honestly, no, I wake up every single morning and I'm just amazed by the beauty of the Virgin Islands, and I'm very grateful to be here and be able to spend my days here.
Do you do any of your own boat repair? You know, Tom's a boatman, but his wife has a conspiracy theory that they think they're really getting the old shimmy dog ham.
Of course, John. He grew up a beach kid. He knows how to repair his motor, do fiberglass work. He can do a little bit of everything.
Well, run what's happening with your boat by John. Maybe he can diagnose it on the phone.
John.
Well, in a small island, it can be hard to come by the right mechanic. So, you know, where was Tom when I had my Mercury on my boat? I should have put you on Spirit Airlines, man. Get down here,
John.
I could have used you.
I know nothing.
Hey, what are the gun laws like in to be able to protect yourself, or do you guys just carry machetes around everywhere?
What kind of question is that, Tom?
Yeah, machetes. Rusty
Why'd you ask
machetes.
me?
Rusty machetes. Turn your mic off. Good Lord.
So, John, I got a question for you real quick before we go. It used to be like Alaska was a place from the United States that people would go.
Yeah, you can see Russia from your house. I remember that.
Well, to be forgotten or kind of like escape or it was the urban legends, like people would move to Alaska so that no one would ever bother them anymore or no one would know.
So you could get away with the murder.
You just hide apparently just from the world. And I feel like a lot of the islands are the same way. But you said it's everybody knows each other's business. But are there some people that is like, oh yeah, the old man Frank over there, don't talk to him. Like no one knows about him. Like he moved here. I
don't think there's anyone in the Virgin Islands named Frank.
I'm just saying, are there any characters that everybody is like, oh yeah, this guy, he maybe was in the mob at one point. Like there's the urban
shady
legend
characters that live in darkness.
In the islands.
No doubt about it. You know, we call them lagoonies. We got some folks down in the harbor and around the mangroves and living on like sailboats that they don't have an address.
Right.
They don't get mail. They're just good and
watch
and
out for those lagoonies.
Whatever may be their business. But yeah, especially on the island this small, it's not like you can really go disappear. You can disappear if you're from somewhere else to come here, but like you can't if you do somebody wrong around here. I've always said it's like instant karma here because you don't have very far you can run and hide. So I mean, yeah, and it shows. It's not all just palm trees and pina coladas around here. You know, we've actually had the title of like the highest homicide ratio per capita in all of U.S. territories for a bunch of years running, and it's nothing that anybody's proud of, but it's something that we're always working on. My main project the last few years has been focused on getting the very first skate park built here in the Virgin Islands, and to offer some of the kids coming up that get into trouble, giving them a nice platform. So that's kind of the situation, but. it is what it is, and that goes for every island around and every city around as well. But it really resonates here on this a small island community.
I'm sure.
Well, you brought up something that's interesting. Like island politics are really different too. Like it's really like ingrained into
it's almost like closed circuit local politics.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't get much bigger because it's a small area, but the influence is just as great.
Yeah. So the politicians, and then like there's different corruption going
Possibly
on. I don't know.
Easier to have some corruption because it's smaller.
So I'm sure you have to deal with a lot of that too, right, John?
Guaranteed. And I lived many years in Puerto Rico as well, and you see how everybody bands together. It's wild, and they just put their foot down. Like Puerto Rico, I'm sure you guys remember, they got millions together and booted the governor straight out. So it's an intense culture here. Every island, even though we're very close to one another, they're all very different. We have the Spanish culture right to our west 40 miles, and then right to our east we got, and living right here on St. Thomas, we have a big French culture too. So it's really cool. It's quite the melting pot, and just very vibrant people, and just powerful, and kind of a no nonsense kind of a culture.
Yeah, and if you, I like that, and it's really cool that you actually got to grow up both in the States and grow up there. And man, we can't thank you enough for the time. Thank you for calling in, and we're looking forward to seeing you at the hurricane party, my friend.
Totally. We're going on so much about the islands, which I could do all day, but really we're here talking about Less Than Jake and the Agrolites and Pacifier, the supervillains, some of my the greatest inspirers, my best friends, my dear friend Jason DeVore from Authority Zero is going to be there too. And then the very next day after the Sanford hurricane party is the boys are going to be jumping on a plane and heading down to St. Thomas to play on an event that I created called Rock the Boat. It's on a 60-foot catamaran. Oh, cool. We play off the bow, and like a few hundred boats pull up to this event, and they all bow up, and they get on their floaties, and they swim out. I got to shoot you guys some photos.
Yes, that sounds awesome.
Well, let's take your boat.
Well, hold on, my boat.
Get your boat fixed, man.
It'll be fixed by then. I can drive my boat from Central Florida. We'll go out of Cocoa Beach.
We'll go out of Cocoa.
I'm pretty sure you just head east, a little southeast, something like that.
God, he doesn't know where he's going. Look at the globe.
We'll just go as fast as we can, and when we see land, when we see the catamaran, we'll know we're there.
Yeah, don't forget south. You got east, but don't forget south too.
Southeast.
Southeast. Write that down.
Just send me a drop pen.
Check that out, those guys. Yeah, I will. I promise, I will. But check that out when you guys got a chance. Go. It's rockdeboat.com. DEH rockdeboat.com. Yeah. It's so fun. We do it seasonally. The next one we got supervillains coming down, and right here on beautiful St. Thomas. But first things first, I'll see you guys in Sanford on the 28th.
Yes, sir.
For the 15th annual hurricane party.
John, it's been a pleasure, man. Dom, he's in the background. Dom, thank you for facilitating everything.
There he is.
The whole time. Oh man, I was good.
and we wish,
a loco moco to you.
And a loco moco to you, sir. Thank you guys. We'll talk to you soon.
I veered John away from some questions, but it's good. You guys did great. Everybody did a terrific job. I give everybody an A+.
I think he hit the geopolitics questions out of the park. I thought it was grert. All right, guys.
I was about to stop him there because he has to live there. But absolutely, you guys did great. Everybody did.
Yeah, he's not running for office. We're good.
No one from St. Thomas is listening to us.
I hung up on him. We're out of here.
Oh, wow.
How to get out. Look, you got to do what you got to do.
How awesome of a trip would that be? You fly over to St. Thomas just for that Rock the Boat concert, and you're I
know
people that do this.
That's awesome. There's a bunch of people just out on floats just watching the concert.
Yeah, in paradise. Like you're watching some awesome bands playing a boat and just floating around in crystal blue St. Thomas water. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, Sam put the link in the chat room if you're looking for it, rockdeboat.com.
Like, how fun would that be?
I wasn't kidding when I said we should go. I wasn't kidding when I said we should go. We never do anything fun. We never take a show trip because
we get an Airbnb out there.
You said we can't do any live broadcasts out places or do them on the road. Because
now we know John Ghazi. Dom's got connections to Scarf.
Yeah, John's our friend now.
Well, all we need is a decent recorder.
He knows probably like a good Airbnb on the I want.
Tuddle, you can talk again. You're
Oh,
fine.
no, I'm
Okay.
sorry about the gun question.
No, it's totally
They
fine.
said there was a lot of violence.
You took us down a very violent road that John Ghazi did not want to go down. Then Dom was your Dom. If you got Dom sweating bullets, then there's something wrong.
Yeah,
Because that
that's
guy
true.
usually doesn't give a damn about anything. And Tuddle says, "Well, he's like,
What's the violence like there? How many murders?
Well, he did say there was the more murders on that island than any other.
Well, they want people to come to their event.
well, Deland used to be that too. I don't know if you
Yeah,
remember
yes.
this, but Deland used to have the highest murder per capita rate of any city in the nation.
Yeah, but why does it scare away tourists? Like, they're not murdering
Toll.
Oh, man.
They're murdering other
That's for you, buddy. That's for you.
murderers. The tourists are fine. They're like, people are always scared. It's like Mexico. All the drug lords are murdering each other.
No, that's not true.
They're not murdering tourists.
Well, they're not murdering them, but my wife is on a cruise forum, and last night she's like, "Oh, look at this!" And it was an excursion that people were booking on this cruise, and people were like, "Don't go to it! Don't go to it!" The excursion resort area, the beach has been taken over by gorillas, but not like the monkey kind, like the kind with ARs and Kevlar vests, and they're
Oh, like
holding
guerrilla
people
warfare?
hostage and not letting us drink our Caribs.
well, I mean, that seems like an extreme.
And then they showed a picture of like two guys in Kevlar vests giving a thumbs up, like, "Don't come here, we'll kill you." Seriously, I'll have Andrea send me the photo.
that sounds like some sort of email forward that grandmas scare each other with.
It had a little racist. It had a little bit of
Of
racism
course,
attached to it. It did. It did.
Because it's like, don't
Scary grandma
if someone has
racism.
their headlights off, don't flash your headlights. That's a
dad
gang
used to say that.
initiation.
No, it's not.
They're gonna kill you.
My dad said, "If you flash your headlights, a Mexican thinks you're trying to buy cocaine."
It's always. It's just
Don't be
emails and
flashing
scares.
your high beams when you drive through Spring Hill, or they'll think you're buying the drugs.
He wasn't when he brought up the mangroves. You know, the mangroves have a different significance over in Tampa. That's where everybody goes cruising.
What's cruising?
for gay sex over in the mangroves.
I wanna go
That's
cruising for gay sex.
Yeah, you just yeah. The mangroves right there in the bay. People just because they got these little cutouts that people just back their trucks up and they have sex right in the bed of their truck because they're shaded and blocked from view by the mangroves. And you put a white you put a white T-shirt out the passenger side of the window, and that's the signal that you're down.
The white T-shirt. Oh, hold on.
Oh my God,
I
my
gotta-
car's nothing but white. I'm pulling them all down.
Plus, I mean, I give up. My
used
butt.
to.
All right. Let's switch gears. We're going to do a BDM show, a bonus BDM show for BDM week.
No, it's
which
BDM Appreciation Week. It's not BDM Week is a whole different
Oh,
animal.
man.
You can't. I told you not to confuse those two.
Is it like Shark Week?
No.
No, we got too many weeks.
Yeah, we do. I do too much.
I'm too
Too
weak.
much.
I'm too weak for these weeks.
All right. We'll be right back.